Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
All right, for a lot of players on this football team, the second half of this season just simply can't continue as the first half of this season has for these players. Some of them needed more because they missed games because of injury. Some of them needed because they've just been playing flat out bad football for the first half of the season. And some of them need it because they need to try to secure whatever spot they're going to have in the future with this football team. So we're going to talk about it. 5 players who I think need a post-bye week breakout. First name here is going to be Cedric Tillman. And I think this is twofold for the Cleveland Browns. The Browns need Cedric Tillman to have a post-bye week breakout, and Cedric Tillman needs to have a post-bye week breakout for his future. The reason I think the Browns need Cedric Tillman to have a post-bye week breakout is simple. They desperately need a wide receiver of Cedric Tillman's projected skill set and the skill set that we have seen flashes of in his NFL career to be available in this offense. When a guy like Cedric Tillman is not available in this offense, a lot of things are just a lot easier to stop, right? We have been complaining about Isaiah Bond blocking a linebacker for David Njoku for like 2 weeks now. Well, if Cedric Tillman is healthy, then that does not happen because Cedric Tillman is a good blocker as a wide receiver, and he's a sufficient size to block bigger players, chip edges, chip linebackers, right? Like he has that advantage. He also is really good at the outbreaking routes. The corner route is his best route. He's one of the best at the corner route. And that is a route that is pivotal to a lot of the stuff that the Browns like to run schematically. They need somebody like Cedric Tillman to emerge, not just as a decent player, but as a player for them, like a absolute guy they can rely on, a 800-yard type wide receiver to give them some comfort in the red zone, to give them some comfort in a lot of the play concepts that they love to go back to. You think about a West Coast offense, you think about the best kind of receivers that were in a West Coast offense, you close your eyes and they're built like Cedric Tillman. Big guys who can run after the catch, who can be physical, right? He has the same build, similar build, obviously not the same player, but a similar build to somebody who thrived in West Coast offenses like Terrell Owens, right? This is what they don't need Cedric to be Terrell Owens, but they need him to be something more than what he's been. You know, they need him to be a legitimate option. They need him to be a 50-50 ball threat. They need him to be able to block in the run game. They need him to be available. This offense has had a hard time working because, in my opinion, every wide receiver for the last few weeks since Cedric Tillman has gotten injured has been playing out of position. Jerry Jeudy has been playing out of position. Isaiah Bond has been playing out of position. Jamari Thrash has just not been playing for whatever reason, right? I think Cedric Tillman can shift some things back into a place that makes a little bit more sense. And I don't know if it's going to change the offense, but it at least gives the offense a better chance of succeeding. Now, Cedric Tillman also needs this success for his own sake because he's at a pivotal point right now. You look at Cedric Tillman in the last 6 games, he's actually gotten the ball. He's put up decent numbers. The problem is he's not been able to consistently stay on the field over the last 2 years. And in 1 year, he was able to consistently stay on the field. His rookie year, he was plagued with drops and forgetting what route he was on. So he's had a really shaky start. There's been some flashes that there's something there with Cedric Tillman, but boy, has the road been bumpy. And right now, the Browns need to not only figure out what they're going to do at the quarterback position, but more importantly for Cedric Tillman, they're going to have to make some tough decisions at wide receiver. Remember last year where I said that running back class coming out of college football was so good that it makes sense for the Browns to take 2 running backs, and then they took 2 running backs. This wide receiver class looks like it's going to be good enough to take 2 wide receivers in. So if you're Cedric Tillman, you got to prove to this team that you can hold down that role. And even if these guys don't get retained, if Andrew Berry gets fired, if Kevin Stefanski gets fired, you still got to prove to whoever comes in that you should be retained in your role. So for Cedric Tillman, this is a huge second half of the season, and he has to take advantage of it, because if he gets hurt again or he just doesn't show up, they're going to have to give up on him, or at least give up on giving him a big role in the offense. And for somebody who has showed as much promise as he has over the years, that'd be very disappointing to end up there. Let's talk about the second guy, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy, I don't even think I got to explain this one that much. We all know why Jerry Jeudy needs a post-bye week breakout, and we all know why the Browns need Jerry Jeudy to get a post-bye week breakout, right? This offense has 2 Pro Bowl players on it in the passing game. They need to lean on those guys more. They need to get those guys the ball more, and they need to get these guys going more often. David Njoku has had an okay season so far, but Jerry Jeudy is really the one that you need to get going and need to get rolling downhill. And I understand that Jerry has had his issues this year, but I'm hearing people talk about Jerry Jeudy like, he's like would be the number 3 receiver on the Steelers right now. And like Jerry's been bad this year. There's no way he's that bad, right? Even in his worst days in Denver, he wasn't that bad. And last year, he's coming off a 1,200-yard season. So if you are the Browns, you're looking at Jerry Jeudy, you have to imagine you can get way more out of Jerry Jeudy than what you're getting. You got to find a way to get that out of him because he's going to be important to what you want to do in the future. You need Jerry Jeudy to be there as a credible threat at wide receiver if you want the guy you're going to plug in at 1 to work. If you want the guy that you're going to plug in the future to work, you got to get something more out of Jerry Jeudy than what you've gotten right now. We're going to talk about my next guys on this list. But before I do that, got to thank my sponsor, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code WORSTTAKE. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. All right, the next player who I think needs a post-bye week breakout, and it's not really because they haven't been playing well, it's just because they want a contract and the Browns are probably going to give it to him, is Alex Wright. He's been great so far this year. He just needs to continue what he's been doing. And I think the Browns will give him a contract. They made the trade of Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, which means they're keeping Alex Wright, which hopefully means they're going to give him a nice little extension at the end of the season. And if he wants to get that, just stay healthy, keep playing good football. And if the Browns can lock down a really young, cheaper than usual defensive line next to Myles Garrett, that'd be a massive, massive boost for them going forward. And it will be something that would allow them, if they get quarterback right and some of the offensive moves right, to slingshot back into contention for at least the AFC North. So yeah, Alex Wright there just needs to play well, get that extension. Number 5 here is one of the quarterbacks that are going to be left playing, right? Bailey Zapp, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. The competition to be next year's starter, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Like maybe somebody starts that's on this team for the beginning portion of next season, but more than likely the Browns are going to address the starting quarterback position either in the draft or through trades. I don't think the 2026 starter, if we're accounting for the quarterback who's going to start the most games next year, I don't think that guy's on the roster right now. He's either playing college football or the Browns are going to trade for him. right? So I'm not really saying this is a competition to be the starter, but there is going to be a competition to see who the Browns are going to keep as the backup next year. Now, you would imagine if Kevin Stefanski stays, that Dylan Gabriel has the leg up on this one, because that's kind of what they envision him as. But I think if Shedeur outplays Dylan Gabriel and maybe doesn't play so well that you rethink taking a quarterback, which is very unlikely that Shedeur plays that well with this offense, right? Like, so, you know, you might be in a situation where he can make you think about it. Maybe you think to yourself, okay, Shedeur looked better, so we keep Shedeur as the backup. Either way, if either of these guys want to stay on the team, they're going to have to demonstrate that they have some value here, and they're going to have to do that with the rest of the season. So I would say, you know, one of these quarterbacks has to end the season without looking completely pathetic. Because right now, I don't think anybody feels great about Dylan Gabriel being the backup for next year. I don't think anybody has any sense of how to feel about Shedeur being the backup next year, or possibly even starting. Same thing with Dylan Gabriel. And like Bailey Zapp, I don't think anybody's getting up for that. The Browns aren't going to be willing to spend a ton of money at quarterback on the last year that they're trying to get rid of this Deshaun Watson money, especially if they make the bold move to cut him in the offseason and just eat a lot of that accelerated dead cap this year. They're really not going to want to spend money to be able to address that quarterback position in free agency. So, you know, I don't want to go into next year with a all rookie contract quarterback room, but it's certainly possible. And I think the question is, who shows enough during this portion of the season to give you confidence that they could be a spot starter / backup for most of next year? I think that's up for grabs right now. I think the conversation about if these guys could stop the Browns from taking somebody in the first round, completely overblown. I think the Browns will make their decision on if they take a quarterback in the first round based off their own draft position and their own evaluation of these guys in the first round. I don't think it matters what these guys do on the roster. I don't think that will heavily affect their decision-making process there. If they have a top 5 pick and there's a top 5 prospect at quarterback that they have access to, they're going to take that guy. If they don't, and then it gets a little bit more complicated. But yeah, I think the conversation is more or less, hey, they might get rid of one of these rookies next year. Who's going to be the guy they keep? Who's going to be the guy they ship? Now, a lot of Shedeur fans want the Browns to ship Shedeur. A lot of Browns fans want the Browns to ship Shedeur. But, you know, I want the Browns to make the best decision possible for him. So, you know, we'll see what Shedeur looks like when he gets out there. We'll see what Dylan Gabriel looks like for the rest of his time out there. But one of these guys has to demonstrate to you that, hey, they could be a spot starter, because I don't feel great about Dylan right now. Have no idea what to feel about Shedeur because he hasn't played yet. But those are my players that I think need a post-bye week breakout. Let me know in the comment section who you think needs a post-bye week breakout. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.